the quiet weight you keep carrying. Welcome to Inner Power Audio. Before we begin, take one slow breath. If this message found you at the right time, stay with it until the end. This is not an audiobook about pretending the past did not happen. It is not about forcing yourself to forget someone, deny your pain, or become emotionally cold. This is about learning how to stop carrying what has been quietly taking your peace. And if you want more calm, powerful audiobooks for self-mastery, emotional strength, and inner healing, subscribe to Inner Power Audio. Let this be a quiet place you can return to when your mind feels heavy. There is a kind of pain no one can see. You carry it while answering emails. You carry it while driving home at night. You carry it while standing in line for coffee. You carry it while laughing with people who have no idea how tired your heart feels. From the outside, life may look normal. You wake up, you work, you respond, you keep going. But inside, something still feels unfinished. Maybe it is a person you cannot stop thinking about. Maybe it is a mistake you keep replaying. Maybe it is a version of your life you thought would happen. Maybe it is a goodbye that never made sense. Maybe it is a wound that never received an apology. And when the room gets quiet, your mind returns to the same place. Why did it happen that way? Why did they change? Why did I stay? Why did I trust them? Why can't I just move on? But letting go is not simple, because you are not only releasing a memory, you are releasing meaning. You are releasing the story you built around what happened. You are releasing the hope that the past will finally explain itself. You are releasing the belief that your peace depends on someone else's apology, someone else's return, or some perfect answer that may never come. Letting go is not forgetting. Letting go is not saying it did not matter. Letting go is not becoming numb. Letting go is the moment you stop allowing the past to use your future as a place to live. It is the moment you say, yes, this hurt me. Yes, this changed me, but it will not own the rest of my life. In this audiobook, we will walk through the art of letting go slowly and honestly. You will learn to name what you are really holding on to. You will stop confusing letting go with losing. You will release the need for closure from someone else. You will grieve the life you thought you would have. You will stop replaying what you cannot rewrite. You will let emotion move through you without becoming it. You will forgive yourself for what you did not know. You will cut the invisible cords that keep you attached. You will rebuild the self you abandoned while holding on. And finally, you will become someone who no longer needs the past to change in order to be free. This is not a quick fix. This is a return. Not to who you were before the pain, because pain changes people, but to a deeper version of yourself. A calmer version, a wiser version. A version of you that no longer organizes life around one old wound. So breathe. Let your shoulders soften. You do not have to solve your whole life right now. You only have to begin. You are not here to erase the past. You are here to stop giving it your future. Chapter 1. Name what you are really holding on to. Most people think they cannot let go because they are holding on to a person. They say, I miss them. I miss what we had. I can't stop thinking about what happened. I just want to understand why. But often, the person is only the surface. Underneath, you may be holding on to a feeling. The feeling of being chosen. The feeling of being safe. The feeling of being wanted. The feeling of being seen by someone who for a moment made the world feel less lonely. Or maybe you are holding something heavier. Rejection. Shame. Abandonment. Embarrassment. The belief that if someone left, changed, betrayed you, or misunderstood you, it must say something about your worth. This is why letting go feels so hard. You are not just trying to forget a person. You are trying to release what their absence made you believe about yourself. That is a deeper wound. If someone left, the mind may say, I was not worth staying for. If someone betrayed you, the mind may say, I was foolish for trusting. If someone replaced you, the mind may say, I was easy to forget. If life disappointed you, the mind may say, maybe I was wrong to hope. But those are interpretations. They are not truth. Pain speaks loudly, but pain is not always honest. This is why the first step in letting go is not forcing yourself to move on. The first step is naming what you are actually carrying, not dramatically, not perfectly, honestly. Ask yourself, what did this experience make me believe about myself? Did it make you believe you are hard to love? Did it make you believe you cannot trust your judgment? Did it make you believe people always leave? Did it make you believe your heart is unsafe when it opens? Did it make you believe you must become smaller to be accepted? Name it. Because a wound you cannot name will keep hiding behind other people's faces. You will think you miss them, when what you really miss is feeling valued. You will think you need them back, when what you really need is to rebuild trust with yourself. You will think you need an explanation, when what you really need is to stop using their behavior as a mirror for your worth. That is where power begins. Not in chasing them, not in replaying the story, not in proving that you were right. Power begins when you stop asking, "Why did they do this to me?" and begin asking, "What did this teach me to believe about myself?" That question changes the work. Now you are not begging the past to speak. You are listening to yourself. Here is a practice. Take a blank page and write this sentence at the top. What am I still carrying? Then write without editing. I am carrying rejection. I am carrying anger. I am carrying shame. I am carrying the fear that I was not enough. I am carrying the need to be chosen by someone who could not choose me well. I am carrying the belief that one ending defines my value. Let it be messy. Let it be uncomfortable. Let it be real. You are not writing to judge yourself. You are writing to separate the pain from your identity. Because you are not rejection. You are someone who felt rejected. You are not shame. You are someone who is ready to stop living beneath it. You are not abandonment. You are someone learning how to stay with yourself. This is the first quiet freedom. To look at the weight and say, "I see what you are now." Not everything that hurts belongs in your future. Not every belief born from pain deserves to become part of your identity. And not every person who affected your nervous system gets to define your worth. You cannot release what you refuse to name. Chapter 2. Stop confusing letting go with losing. One reason people struggle to let go is because they believe letting go means the past did not matter. They think if they stop hurting, it means the love was not real. They think if they stop thinking about it every day, it means they are becoming cold. They think if they stop waiting, it means they gave up. They think if they choose peace, it means the pain was not deep enough. But letting go is not the same as losing. Letting go does not erase what happened. It does not deny that you cared. It does not deny that you tried. It does not deny that something once mattered deeply. Letting go simply says, "This mattered, but it no longer gets to control me." That is not weakness. That is self-respect. Many people keep pain alive because pain feels like proof. Proof that the love was real. Proof that they were loyal. Proof that they were hurt. Proof that what happened was unfair. But your suffering does not need to continue in order for your love to be valid. You do not have to keep bleeding to prove the wound existed. You can honor a chapter without living inside it. You can keep the lesson without keeping the emotional prison. You can admit that something shaped you without allowing it to define the rest of your life. This is difficult because pain can become familiar. Even when it hurts, it gives the mind somewhere to go. It gives your identity a story. It gives your sadness a home. It gives your days a hidden rhythm. Remember, hurt, replay, hope, crash, repeat. But familiar pain is still pain. Do not confuse attachment with love. Do not confuse longing with truth. Do not confuse suffering with loyalty. A person can matter and still not belong in your life anymore. A memory can be beautiful and still not be a place to live. A chapter can be meaningful and still be over. Letting go is not saying, "I never cared." It is saying, "I care about my peace now." It is saying, "I will not abandon myself to remain emotionally loyal to what hurt me." It is saying, I am allowed to live beyond this. This is an important difference. You do not have to hate someone to release them. You do not have to erase the good to admit the whole truth. You do not have to make the past ugly in order to move forward. Sometimes mature healing sounds like this. There were good moments, there was real feeling, there was hope. And still, this is no longer where I live. That sentence has dignity. It does not deny, it does not beg, it does not collapse, it sees clearly. Try this shift. Instead of saying, I lost everything, say, I am returning to myself. Instead of saying, it was all for nothing, say, it taught me what I needed to see. Instead of saying, I cannot let go, say, I am learning to release what no longer protects my peace. Words matter. The way you speak to your pain becomes the way your nervous system understands it. If you tell yourself you lost everything, your body will live as if nothing remains. But if you tell yourself you are returning to yourself, your mind begins to search for the way home. At first, letting go may feel like loss because you are releasing something familiar. You are releasing the habit of checking, the habit of hoping, the habit of imagining a different ending, the habit of making your worth depend on what someone else failed to give. But what feels like loss may actually be space. Space for peace, space for dignity, space for a new rhythm, space for a life that does not begin and end with the same wound. You are not betraying the past by healing. You are honoring your future by refusing to stay trapped. Letting go is not losing. It is coming back to yourself. Chapter 3. Release the need for closure from someone else. Sometimes the thing keeping you attached is not love. It is the need for an answer. You want to know why. Why did they leave that way? Why did they change so suddenly? Why did they make promises they could not keep? Why did they act like you mattered, then treat you like you were easy to lose? The mind hates unfinished stories. It wants a clean ending. It wants the final conversation. It wants the other person to sit across from you and say, I understand what I did. I understand how much it hurt. You deserved better. Sometimes that happens, but often it does not. Sometimes people do not have the maturity to explain the harm they caused. Sometimes they are too defensive to tell the truth. Sometimes they are too ashamed to face themselves. Sometimes they have rewritten the story in a way that protects their ego. And if your peace depends on their honesty, you may wait for years. This is a painful truth, but it is freeing. Closure is not always a conversation. Sometimes closure is a decision. It is the decision to stop reopening your wound in search of an answer from someone who benefited from your confusion. It is the decision to say, even if I never understand why, I still choose to heal. It is the decision to stop placing your recovery in the hands of the person who could not handle your heart with care. That does not mean what happened was okay. It does not mean you excuse it. It does not mean you invite them back. Forgiveness and access are not the same thing. You can release bitterness without reopening the door. You can stop carrying anger without trusting them again. You can wish someone growth from a distance and still protect your life from their patterns. That is emotional maturity. Not weakness, not denial, maturity. Many people confuse closure with justice. They want the other person to finally feel what they felt. They want life to show them clearly that the person who hurt them understands the damage. They want the apology to repair the imbalance. They want the truth to make the pain organized. But healing cannot wait for a perfect emotional trial. Because even if they apologized, you would still have to heal. Even if they explained, you would still have to rebuild. Even if they admitted everything, you would still have to decide not to live in the ruins. Their apology might help, but it cannot do the work for you. And sometimes, waiting for the apology becomes another way of staying connected. You tell yourself you are waiting for peace, but really, you are still waiting for them. Waiting for them to become clear. Waiting for them to become honest. Waiting for them to become the kind of person who can finally hold your pain with care. But your life is not meant to stand still until someone else becomes emotionally ready. Your peace cannot live on their timeline. Here is a practice. Write the letter you wish you could send. Do not edit it. Do not make it polite. Do not make it impressive. Tell the truth. Say what hurt. Say what you never got to say. Say what you needed and did not receive. Say what you are finally ready to stop carrying. Then end the letter with this sentence. I release the need for you to understand me. Not because it did not matter, because my peace matters more. You do not have to send the letter. In many cases, it is better that you do not. The point is not to restart the conversation. The point is to return the power to yourself. You are not asking them for permission to heal. You are not waiting for them to become wise enough to validate your pain. You are not standing outside the locked door of their emotional maturity, hoping they finally let you in. You are turning around. You are walking back to your own life. That is closure. Quiet, strong, internal. And this kind of closure has weight because no one can take it away from you. If they never explain, you can still heal. If they never apologize, you can still rebuild. If they never understand, you can still choose peace. If they never become the person you hoped they would be, you can still become the person you are meant to become. Your peace cannot depend on someone else's maturity. Chapter 4. Grieve the life you thought you would have. There is a kind of grief people rarely talk about. It is not only the grief of losing what happened, it is the grief of losing what you thought would happen. The future you pictured, the home you imagined, the version of yourself you thought you were becoming, the plans you made quietly in your mind before life changed direction. Sometimes you are not only missing a person, you are missing the life that seemed attached to them. The mornings you thought you would share, the holidays, the conversations, the stability, the feeling that something had finally become safe. And when that disappears, people may tell you to move on. But your heart is not only moving on from a person, a failure, or a disappointment. It is moving on from an entire imagined future. That deserves grief. Do not shame yourself for mourning something that never fully happened. The mind can bond with possibility. The heart can attach to a dream. You can lose something real even if it only existed in hope. That does not make you foolish. It makes you human. You hoped because you were open. You believed because some part of you still trusted life. You imagined because you wanted something meaningful. There is no shame in that. But there is a danger in building a shrine to the life that did not happen. There is a danger in saying, because that future is gone, no future can be good. That is not grief. That is surrendering your whole life to one broken expectation. A different life is not a failed life. Read that slowly. A different life is not a failed life. Sometimes life changes direction before you are ready. Sometimes what you planned cannot hold who you are becoming. Sometimes a closed door feels like rejection because you cannot yet see the protection. You do not have to believe that fully today. You only have to leave space for it. Grief does not mean you stop moving. It means you move with tenderness. You wake up and do one small thing. You make your bed, you take a walk. You answer one message, you drink water, you clean one corner of the room. You remind your body that life is still happening here, not in the imagined future, here, in this ordinary day. This chapter is not about forcing hope. It is about making room for life again. Because when an imagined future breaks, your mind may become afraid to imagine anything new. It may say, do not hope. Hope hurts. It may try to protect you by making you smaller, colder, and less open. But a heart that never hopes again is not healed. It is guarded. Healing means learning how to hope with wisdom, not blind hope, not desperate hope, a steadier kind of hope. The kind that says, I do not know exactly what comes next, but I refuse to believe that one lost future means there is no future left. Here is a practice. Take a page and draw a line down the middle. On the left side, write, the life I expected. Be honest. Write what you thought would happen. Write what you wanted. Write what you pictured. Do not make it small. On the right side, write, "The life I can still build." At first, this side may feel empty. That is okay. I can still build peace. I can still build trust with myself. I can still build mornings that do not begin with pain. I can still build relationships that do not require me to abandon myself. I can still build a future I cannot fully see yet. This is not denial, this is recovery. You are teaching your mind that possibility did not die just because one version of life ended. There will be moments when the old future still visits you. Let it. Let the sadness rise. Then gently remind yourself, that was one version, not the only version. Your life is not over because one path closed. You are allowed to grieve the path, and you are allowed to keep walking. A different life is not a failed life. Chapter 5. Stop replaying what you cannot rewrite. The mind loves to replay what it cannot control. It goes back to the conversation, the last message. The moment you should have noticed something was wrong. The words you wish you had said. The silence you wish you had understood. It plays the scene again and again, as if repetition can change the ending. This is one of the most exhausting parts of holding on. You are not only remembering the past, you are trying to rewrite it. You think, if I can understand it better, maybe it will hurt less. If I can find the exact moment everything changed, maybe I can finally let it go. If I can prove I was not wrong, maybe I can stop feeling this way. But replay is not healing. Replay is a loop. Reflection gives you wisdom. Rumination gives you exhaustion. Reflection says, what can I learn? Rumination says, how can I punish myself with this again? Reflection has an ending. Rumination keeps asking questions that have no usable answer. This difference matters, because many people think they are processing when they are actually reopening. They think they are healing because they are thinking deeply. But thinking deeply is not always healing. Sometimes it is pain wearing the mask of analysis. If a thought does not lead to a lesson, an action, or a softer relationship with yourself, it may not be helping you. It may be feeding the wound. The past cannot be rewritten by replaying it. No amount of mental rehearsal will make someone choose differently. No amount of regret will make your old self know what your current self knows now. No amount of overthinking will turn confusion into peace. At some point, the question changes. It is no longer, why did this happen? It becomes, what am I doing to myself by returning there every day? This is where power begins, not in getting every answer, in interrupting the loop. There is a moment you need to recognize. The moment when thinking stops giving you clarity and starts taking your life. You may be lying in bed staring at the ceiling, trying to solve a conversation that ended months ago. You may be sitting in traffic, suddenly replaying a sentence someone said. You may be watching a movie, but your attention is not on the screen. It is back in the old scene, trying to find one more clue. When that happens, do not shame yourself. Notice it, name it, then come back. Here is a practice called name it. Learn from it, leave it. First, name it. Say this is a replay, not a revelation, not an emergency, not a sign, a replay. Second, learn from it. Ask one clean question. What is the lesson I can take from this? Maybe the lesson is to trust patterns more than promises. Maybe it is to speak sooner. Maybe it is to stop explaining away disrespect. Maybe it is to listen to your body when it feels unsafe. Take the lesson. Write it down in one sentence. Third, leave the scene. Not because the scene did not matter, because you already received what you needed from it. When the mind returns, do not fight it with anger. Gently say, I have taken the lesson. I do not need to re-enter the pain. Then do something physical. Stand up, drink water, step outside, stretch, put your hands on your chest and breathe slowly. Let your body know you are no longer in that moment. Because the mind often replays the past when the body feels unsafe in the present. Grounding matters. Healing is not only a thought process, it is a body process. You are teaching your nervous system that the event is over. You survived it. You are here now. And here now is where your life can be changed. Do not make your mind a theater for old pain. Do not keep buying a ticket to the same ending. You can remember without replaying. You can learn without reliving. You can carry wisdom without carrying the whole wound. Learn from the past. Do not live there. Chapter 6. Let the emotion move through you. Letting go is not the same as shutting down. It is not saying, "I'm fine," when your chest feels heavy. It is not smiling through pain so no one feels uncomfortable. It is not forcing yourself to be strong in a way that makes you numb. Real letting go requires feeling, not feeding the emotion, not obeying it, not building an identity around it, feeling it. There is a difference. Maybe you know the moment. It is 2:13 a.m. The room is dark. Your phone is face down beside you, but your mind is awake. You are not crying loudly. You are just staring at the ceiling, feeling a tightness in your chest that words cannot fully explain. Or maybe it happens in your car. You park outside your apartment, turn off the engine, and suddenly the silence brings everything up. Or maybe you see an old photo while looking for something else. And for a few seconds, your body reacts before your mind can catch up. This is how emotion works. It does not always ask for permission, it rises. Many people are afraid of emotion because they think if they let it rise, it will take over. So they push it down. They stay busy. They scroll. They overwork. They talk themselves out of it. They say, "It was not a big deal." They say, "Other people have it worse." They say, "I should be over this by now." But buried emotion does not disappear. It waits. It returns as tension in the body. It returns as anger over small things. It returns as anxiety at night. It returns as tiredness that sleep does not fully fix. Emotion wants motion. It wants to move through you, not control you, move through you. When sadness rises, you do not become sadness. You say, "Sadness is here." When anger rises, you do not become anger. You say, "Anger is here." When fear rises, you do not come fear. You say, "Fear is here." This small shift creates space. "I am broken" traps you inside the feeling. "I feel pain" gives you room to breathe. You are not the storm. You are the sky noticing the storm. Try this practice. Pause. Do not reach for your phone immediately. Do not run to distraction. Do not argue with the feeling. Pause. Breathe in slowly. Then ask, "Where do I feel this in my body?" Maybe it is in your throat. Maybe your chest. Maybe your stomach. Maybe your jaw. Maybe your shoulders. Place your attention there gently, not to fix it, to witness it. Then name it softly. This is grief. This is anger. This is disappointment. This is fear. This is loneliness. This is love with nowhere to go. Then breathe again. Let the emotion exist without adding a story. Do not say, "I will always feel this way." Do not say, "This proves I am weak." Do not say, "I will never heal." Those are stories. Stay with the sensation. A wave does not last forever unless you keep becoming the ocean for it. Let it rise, let it peak, let it pass. This does not mean the feeling will disappear in 1 minute. Sometimes it stays, sometimes it returns. But each time you allow it without becoming it, you build emotional trust with yourself. You teach yourself, "I can feel pain and still be safe." That is healing. Not the absence of emotion. The ability to stay present with yourself while emotion moves. There may be days when you cry. Let yourself cry. There may be days when you feel nothing. Let the numbness be there too. There may be days when you feel strong in the morning and fragile at night. That is not failure. That is the rhythm of recovery. Do not turn healing into another standard you use to judge yourself. You are allowed to be in process. You are allowed to feel something more than once. And you are allowed to move slowly. This matters because many people turn healing into a performance. They think they must be calm all the time. They think one bad night means they have gone backward. They think missing someone means they failed to let go. No. Healing is not a straight line. Healing is a return. Again and again, you return to your breath. You return to your body. You return to the present. You return to the truth. I can feel this without becoming it. The goal is not to become untouchable. The goal is to stop abandoning yourself every time emotion appears. So feel it, breathe with it, name it, let it move, feel it fully, but do not become it. Chapter 7. Forgive yourself for what you didn't know. After someone hurts you, there is often a second pain, the pain of what happened, and the pain of blaming yourself for not preventing it. You ask, why did I stay? Why did I ignore the signs? Why did I trust them? Why did I give so much? Why did I not leave sooner? These questions can sound like reflection, but often they are self-punishment. You are taking the wisdom you have now and using it as a weapon against the version of you who did not have it then. That is not fair. The old version of you did not know what you know now. They were acting from the awareness they had, the fear they carried, the love they felt, and the hope they were trying to protect. Maybe they stayed because they believed in people. Maybe they gave another chance because they wanted to be kind. Maybe they ignored the red flags because they were attached to the green ones. Maybe they tolerated too much because they had not yet learned that love without peace is not safety. This does not mean every choice was wise. It means every choice had a context. Self-forgiveness is not avoiding responsibility. It is ending the punishment after the lesson has been learned. There is a difference between accountability and shame. Accountability says, I see what happened. I will choose differently now. Shame says, because I did not know better, I deserve to suffer. Accountability helps you grow. Shame keeps you small. You do not need shame to become wise. You need honesty. You need compassion. You need a new standard. Think of your old self as someone who was trying to survive with limited information. They were trying to be loved, trying to be safe, trying to make sense of mixed signals, trying to hold something together because losing it felt unbearable. Would you speak to a friend that way? Would you look at someone you love and say, you were stupid for hoping? No. You would say, you were doing your best with what you understood then. So why do you deny yourself that same mercy? The way you speak to your past self becomes the environment your future self grows in. If you keep attacking who you were, you will struggle to trust who you are becoming. Here is a practice. Write a note to the old version of you. Start with this sentence. You were trying to survive with what you knew, then continue. Tell them what you understand now. Tell them you see why they stayed. Tell them you see why they hoped. Tell them you see how tired they were. Tell them they do not have to keep paying for what they did not know. And then write this. I will protect us differently now. That sentence matters, because healing is not only forgiving the past, it is making a new promise to yourself. I will listen sooner. I will trust patterns. I will not call confusion love. I will not abandon my peace to keep someone close. I will not punish myself for learning late. Late learning is still learning. Slow healing is still healing. A delayed awakening is still an awakening. You are here now. That counts. There is also a quiet grief in realizing you deserved better before you knew how to ask for it. Let yourself feel that. You may look back and see how many times you minimized your own discomfort. You may remember the moments when your body knew something was wrong, but your heart wanted to believe. You may see how often you chose potential over pattern. That awareness can hurt, but do not turn awareness into cruelty. The purpose of seeing clearly is not to hate who you were. It is to protect who you are becoming. So when the voice of shame returns, meet it with truth. Yes, I missed signs. Yes, I gave too much. Yes, I stayed longer than I should have. And yes, I am learning. Do not use your growth as evidence against your past. Use it as proof that you are no longer the same. You were learning. Stop punishing yourself for not knowing sooner. Chapter 8. Cut the invisible cords that keep you attached. Some attachments do not survive because the relationship is still alive. They survive because the habits are still alive. Checking their social media, reading old messages, looking at old photos, listening to songs that pull you back, keeping objects in plain sight that reopen the same emotion, asking mutual friends about them, repeating the story to anyone who will listen, not because it helps you heal, but because it keeps the connection breathing. These are invisible chords. They may look small from the outside, but every time you touch them, you send your mind the same message. This is not over. That is why you can feel strong for a day, then lose yourself after one small trigger. A name on a screen, a picture, a location, a song, a memory attached to a certain time of night. Suddenly your body is back there. This does not mean you are weak. It means your healing environment still contains open doors to the wound. You do not need drama to close them. You do not need hatred. You do not need a grand announcement. You need boundaries, quiet ones, clean ones, consistent ones. What you keep touching cannot heal. If you keep pressing on a bruise, you cannot be surprised that it stays tender. The same is true emotionally. Every time you check, you reopen. Every time you reread, you return. Every time you compare your life to theirs, you hand your piece to a story you cannot control. So here is the practice. For 30 days, stop checking. Not forever, not as a dramatic identity. Just 30 days. Give your nervous system a clean space to recover. Mute, unfollow, archive, delete. Put away the objects that keep pulling your mind backward. You do not have to destroy everything. You do not have to pretend nothing happened. But you do need to stop building a daily altar to pain. Next, stop feeding the story. There is a difference between sharing to heal and repeating to stay attached. If every conversation about it leaves you more angry, more obsessed, more wounded, pause. Ask yourself, is this helping me process? Or is this keeping me connected? Choose carefully who gets access to your pain. Some people will help you soften. Others will help you stay angry. Anger may feel powerful for a moment, but if you live there too long, it becomes another cage. Then replace the trigger with grounding. When you feel the urge to check, do something physical. Stand up, drink water, walk outside for 5 minutes. Write one sentence, I am choosing my peace right now. Put both feet on the floor and name 5 things you can see. You are training your brain to move from attachment to presence. At first, this may feel uncomfortable. Your mind may say just one look, but one look is not neutral when your heart is healing. One look can become 1 hour. 1 hour can become 1 night. 1 night can become a return to a version of yourself you are trying to outgrow. Protect your recovery like it matters, because it does. You cannot heal in the same environment that keeps reopening you. This is not about pretending you are unaffected. It is about giving yourself a real chance. Cutting cords does not mean you hate them. It means you finally love your peace more than your attachment. And that love has to become practical, not just emotional practical. Make a list. What needs to be muted? What needs to be moved? What needs to stop being checked? What conversation needs to end? What song keeps pulling you backward? What object belongs in a box, not in front of your eyes? What time of day makes you most likely to return to the old pattern? Answer honestly, then act quietly. No announcement, no performance, just protection. Because every boundary you set with a trigger is a message to yourself. My healing is real. My peace is worth protecting. My future deserves a clean space. What you keep touching cannot heal. Chapter 9. Rebuild the self you abandoned while holding on. When you hold on to pain for a long time, you often lose more than peace. You lose parts of yourself. Not all at once, slowly. You stop sleeping well. You stop eating with care. You stop moving your body. You stop reaching out to good people. You stop cleaning your space. You stop creating. You stop laughing without guilt. You stop planning for the future. Because one part of you is still waiting for the past to become different. And then one day, you look at your life and realize the pain did not only take your attention, it took your rhythm, it took your routines, it took your sense of identity. This is why healing cannot only be about release. It must also be about rebuilding. You are not just letting go of what hurt you. You are returning to the self you abandoned while holding on. Ask yourself this question: who was I before this pain became my identity? Not because you need to become that exact person again. You may not. You have changed. You have learned. You have seen things differently now. But there are parts of you that still belong to you. Your curiosity, your standards, your humor, your creativity, your desire for calm mornings, your ability to care for your body, your capacity to enjoy small things without checking whether the past still has power over you. Healing means calling those parts back. This is your 5-part return: body, space, routine, connection, purpose. Start with the body. Pain often pulls you into the mind. You think, analyze, remember, predict, compare, regret. But the body brings you back to now. Walk, stretch, drink water, sleep at a consistent time, eat something that supports you, not to become perfect, to show your body that it is safe to live again. Then rebuild your space. Your environment speaks to your nervous system. A messy room can become a physical version of emotional overwhelm. Start small. Clear one surface, wash one cup, open one window, change the sheets. Put away what belongs to the old chapter. You are not just cleaning, you are sending a message. A new life can begin here. Then rebuild your routine. Do not wait until you feel fully healed to live with structure. Structure helps healing. Choose a simple morning rhythm. Wake, breathe. No phone for the first few minutes. Write one sentence. Move your body. Begin the day with yourself before the world enters. Then rebuild connection. Pain can isolate you. It can convince you that no one understands. But healthy connection is part of recovery. Reach out to one person who does not pull you back into the wound. Someone steady. Someone honest. Someone reminds you that your life is bigger than what happened. You do not need a crowd, you need safe presence. Finally, rebuild purpose. Purpose does not have to be dramatic. It can be one small thing you do because it makes tomorrow a little better. Read 10 pages, work on one skill, apply for one opportunity, cook one meal, create something, finish something. Purpose is how your energy learns where to go after it stops circling the past. Your energy needs a destination. Give it one. Not the old person, not the old story, not the old pain, the life you are building now. This is the quiet truth. You do not heal only by understanding what happened. You heal by proving to yourself, through repeated action, that life still wants you here. Every small act of care is evidence. Every clean room, every walk, every boundary, every honest conversation, every morning you choose not to check. Every night you choose rest over replay. Evidence you are coming back, not as who you were before, as someone deeper, someone wiser, someone who knows the cost of abandoning themselves and chooses not to do it again. So do not wait for a dramatic transformation. Begin with small returns. Return to your body, return to your room, return to your morning, return to safe people, return to meaningful work, return to the parts of your life that pain made quiet. One day you will realize you are no longer only letting go, you are living again. Body, space, routine, connection, purpose, return there, again and again. Your energy belongs to the life you are building now. Chapter 10. Become someone who no longer needs the past to change. There comes a point in healing when you stop asking the past to become different. Not because it was okay, not because it no longer mattered, but because you finally understand that your freedom cannot depend on a story that has already happened. This is one of the deepest signs of letting go. You no longer need them to say the right thing. You no longer need the ending to make perfect sense. You no longer need every person to understand your side. You no longer need life to go back and give you the version you expected. The past stays the same, but you change. That is freedom. Many people think healing means they will never remember, but that is not true. You may remember. A song may still bring something up. A place may still feel strange. A certain month may still carry a shadow. A name may still move through you. But the difference is this: you do not collapse. You feel the memory and you stay here. You notice the thought, and you do not follow it into the old room. You acknowledge the ache, and you do not make it your home. That is healing, not forgetting, freedom. The past may never apologize. The past may never explain. The past may never become fair in the way your heart wanted. But you can become someone who no longer needs it to. You can become someone who says, I accept that this happened. I accept that it hurt. I accept that I cannot rewrite it. And I accept that I am still allowed to live fully. Acceptance is not approval. Acceptance means you stop fighting reality with your nervous system. It means you stop spending your present trying to force yesterday to confess. It means you stop tying your future to a locked door. There is a quiet dignity in this. You are no longer begging the old chapter to become gentle. You are no longer asking the people who hurt you to become the people who heal you. You are no longer proving your pain to anyone who is committed to misunderstanding it. You are choosing yourself. Not loudly, not bitterly, clearly. Write this sentence somewhere you can see it. I no longer need the past to change for me to be free. Read it when the mind wants to go back. Read it when you feel tempted to check. Read it when old anger rises. Read it when you miss what you thought it was. I no longer need the past to change for me to be free. At first it may feel like words. Then one day it becomes a belief. Then it becomes a boundary. Then it becomes a life. You will notice it in small ways. You wake up and they are not your first thought. You hear their name and your whole body does not tighten. You pass a familiar place and keep walking. You remember something beautiful and do not use it as a reason to reopen the wound. You stop explaining. You stop waiting. You stop measuring your worth by how someone else failed to see it. You start living forward. This is not the same as becoming untouched. You were touched. You were changed. But you were not destroyed. Letting go does not return you to who you were before the pain. It allows you to become someone who no longer organizes life around the pain. That person is calm. That person is clear. That person knows love should not require self-abandonment. That person knows peace is not boring. Peace is sacred. That person knows some doors close as protection, not punishment. And that person is you, not someday now in practice. Each time you choose not to replay. Each time you choose not to reach. Each time you choose not to punish yourself. Each time you choose the present over the old story, you become free. And when old feelings visit, you do not panic. You do not say, I failed. You say, this is a memory moving through me. You let it pass. You come back to your body. You come back to your breath. You come back to the life you are building. This is the final art of letting go, not fighting the past, not feeding the past, not needing the past to finally become kind, only choosing again and again to belong to the present. Healing is when the past stays the same, but you are finally free. Choose peace without needing permission. You have walked through a quiet kind of journey. You named what you were really holding on to. You stopped confusing letting go with losing. You released the need for closure from someone else. You grieved the life you thought you would have. You stopped replaying what you cannot rewrite. You allowed emotion to move through you without becoming it. You forgave yourself for what you did not know. You cut the invisible cords that kept you attached. You began rebuilding the self you abandoned while holding on. And now you are learning to become someone who no longer needs the past to change in order to be free. That is not a small thing. That is inner strength. Not the loud kind, the real kind. The kind no one sees at first. The kind that happens in quiet rooms, in late nights, in mornings when you choose not to check, in moments when you breathe, instead of returning to the old pattern. Letting go is not one decision, it is a practice you return to. So here is your 72-hour challenge. On day 1, write down one thing you are ready to stop carrying. Be honest. Do not make it sound better than it is. Name it clearly. On day 2, remove one trigger that keeps pulling you back. Mute, archive, delete, put away, or step back. Choose one practical act of protection. On day 3, do one small thing that proves you are choosing the present. Take a walk, clean your space, call a steady friend. Work on something meaningful. Begin again in one simple way. Do not wait until you feel completely healed. Begin while healing. Begin gently. Begin honestly. And when you forget, return. When the old thought comes back, return. When emotion rises, return. When the past tries to become your home again, return. Return to your breath. Return to your body. Return to your peace. Return to the life that is still waiting for you. If this audiobook helped you feel a little lighter, like this video, subscribe to Inner Power Audio and share it with someone who may need permission to stop carrying what is hurting them. In the comments, write, "I choose peace, not for the algorithm, for yourself, as a line in the sand, as a quiet promise, as a reminder that your future is not a storage place for old pain. You do not need the past to disappear. You only need to stop giving it your future."